The British Rally Championship recently had its fourth round, the Grampian Rally. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the things that stood out from the rally itself and also the British Rally Championship's broadcast. And it comes at a really opportune time because the next round of the ProBite eBRC, the Motorsport UK Run esports version of the British Rally Championship, which I compete in over on my other channel, we'll be doing Finland instead of the Grampian Rally next week, because unfortunately there are no British events in EA Sports WRC. But if you do want to check that out, go to the description down below and you can catch up on the previous rounds of this season so far. And let's start off with the top finishes because we have a really nice blend. It starts off with the winner, William Crichton, with Liam Regan alongside. Their MEM Toyota GR Yaris Rally 2 was on Michelin's. In second place, Max McRae and Cameron Fair. MRF Shod Citroen C3 Rally 2. In third place, Marion Evans and Dale Furness, teammates to Crichton and Regan, but their Toyota GR Yaris Rally 2 is on Pirellis. Outside of there, you then have the two M Sport Fords. Gary Pearson leading home Romer Jurgensen, who ended up winning on countback from the Michelin's of Callum Black with his Pirelli shod Fiesta. And the way that the rally was settled was by being consistent and not pushing too hard. William Crichton had recently won the Nicky Grist stages, which we saw a lot of the BRC regulars competing in, but it wasn't scoring any championship points. And yeah, his Michelin's held on, and he was able to pull away from Max McRae, who was able to look after those MRFs. And yeah, that is a much needed result. He was very emotional at the end whilst being interviewed by his cousin. And then Marion Evans, he's been good, but he predominantly has better performances on tarmac by his own admission. So to get on the podium was good for him, ahead of Pearson and Jurgensen, who both had some rotten luck, both with tyres, but Jurgensen also had the issue that for the first two stages, the Fiesta was running on 3 cylinders. I think Jurgensen dropped something like 45 seconds. And had it not been for some issues later on the Saturday, it was looking like Jurgensen was going to sweep the top times, just second only to Crichton. And that is incredibly impressive from the FIA Rally Star sort of graduate, because graduated WRCC was still sponsored by the programme, and that programme has gone with a fully funded WRC2 drive as well as this BRC programme. And of course, as always, the broadcast package is pretty well put together. It's great to see something like this for a national championship, because I would actually say it's not too far removed in terms of quality of the big budget ERC and WRC ones. And actually, given that Holly McRae has done punditry for the ERC this season, I could say that they are relatively similar in terms of the product. So I was really impressed with it. Of course, it doesn't go out live, but there isn't the funding to do that. The reason why WRC promotes to be able to do it is because they put the money in. They have the money to put in. Though, given that they have recently been listed as for sale, maybe we're speaking a little bit ahead of ourselves there. But I do want to wrap up with what they began the broadcast with, which was paying tribute to Di Roberts, co-driver who tragically passed away after an accident on the Jim Clark Rally, round 3 of the BRC, as well as sending the best wishes to James Williams, the driver of the car in the accident, who I believe is still on the road of recovery from injury sustained in the accident. I spoke a little bit about the incident at the time that took place on the Jim Clark in Scotland near Duns a few weeks ago, and the tragic story of the family. Yes, Di Roberts was the co-driver to Gareth Jaffa Roberts, who was the co-driver to the late Craig Breen. And it was good that they opened the broadcast with that, with discussing what had happened and passing on condolences and best wishes for recovery for Williams. It reminds us that although motorsport can be dangerous, the motorsport family looks after each other. And when I see the kind of community we have around on this channel, I like to say that I can see that reciprocated pretty much anywhere that I look. And I watch a lot of motorsport. Thank you for watching and joining, folks. And until next time, it's bye-bye for now.